Welcome to the Board of Education meeting for Weld County School District 6 on this, the 8th day of April 2019. This meeting will now come to order. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Ms. Crane, would you give us a roll call vote, please?
Mr. Hafley?
Present.
Mr. Lydiak?
Present.
Mrs. Match?
Present.
Mr. Matthews?
Present.
Ms. Pappas?
Present.
Dr. Richard?
Present.
Mrs. Solis?
Present.
7 members present.
All right, thank you very much. We talk often about engage, empower, and inspire. And under engagement, we have to keep students engaged, and it's always critical for them to see how what they're learning meets their future. We got to see our construction management pathway this last Friday at Jefferson High School, who just recently won or was recognized by Habitat International. They went to Atlanta and were recognized, and we were very impressed and want to extend our congratulations to both that high school and that program. Under Empower, also congratulations go to Dr. Pilch, who was named BizWest Woman of Distinction last week. We have amazing and talented kids, and we want to have amazing and talented staff as well. And we do. We have amazing teachers and talented teachers, amazing administrators, but those that staff is retiring all the time, and we need to replace them with more talented, not less talented teachers and administrators. And you cannot have talent throughout a system if you don't have talent at the top. And so not only do we congratulate you, but just echo their award and say it's well-deserved. Under Inspire, I often find it's me that is inspired rather than us that's doing the inspiring. And there was a student featured in our paper, Lois Schaefer, is the way I pronounce that. She's a senior at Northridge High School. She'll be attending Arizona in the fall to play golf. She has a 4.231 GPA and a 78 scoring average. If you don't play golf, 78 scoring average is very good. But what impressed me, besides those impressive scores, is she said, "I'm not the score that I shoot." And we're in a business of numbers, and we're very proud of our numbers and the fact that we do have an 81.5% graduation rate. It is higher than the states, and we have a lot of students right now who are taking CMAS tests and will get a number at the end of that, and a teacher who will get a number. But it is a reminder to us all that our students are more than numbers, and we dare not reduce them to that. We're now to the portion of the meeting that where we hear people desiring to speak before the Board of Education. Is there anyone? There is no one that would like to speak to us tonight. Well then, Ms. Crane, would you give us a work session report, please?
Board of Education President Michael Matthews began the work session with comments and updates from board members and then proceeded to review the calendar of upcoming events and meeting dates. That concluded the work session.
Thank you, Ms. Crane. And Dr. Pilch, would you now please give us your report?
Thank you, President Matthews. My pleasure. Thank you for those kind words. It was really an honor to represent District 6 and to be recognized by BizWest. Really, truly an honor. So thank you. And thank you to those of you who were able to attend and be a part of the program that morning. So I just want to give a few updates and a few celebrations. Our Facility Master Planning Committee, who has been meeting now for several months and learning about the needs in the district and discussing the possibility of a future bond issue. They have their final meeting this Wednesday evening, and I know you all will be joining us to hear from them. I just want to remind everyone that we have not made a decision, although the paper looks kind of like we've made a decision about a bond issue and where we'd go with that bond issue. We have not made a decision. It's very important that we hear from our community. The exciting news about what you all did discuss in your work session here when we discussed information was that you're saying the needs are big and we need to satisfy the needs. That's really exciting. I do want to add, I've been contacted by a few folks who are saying, I don't understand, there's buildings much older than those round buildings of Scott and Greeley West and Madison and Brentwood. Why would those schools be recommended for replacement when older schools like Greeley Central High School or Billy Martinez Elementary or Jackson Elementary are not being recommended for replacement? And so I'm just going to very quickly give a little bit of information from a lay person's perspective of what I understand from those who did the facility audits and condition audit. So the really good thing about those really old buildings is they were built really, really well. And they are good, old, sturdy, strong, well-built buildings. And they need a facelift. They absolutely need to be brought up to date so that our children are learning in spaces that are state-of-the-art and children are learning in spaces that will help prepare them for their world. But those buildings, like Greeley Central High School and Billy Martinez and Jackson, actually do not need to be torn down. They have a lot of work they need. Some of them need more secure entrances. Some of them need new carpet and paint and upgrades to the libraries and science labs. But we've got a good, solid foundation of a building at those sites that we can work within. And as many of you know, Greeley Central High School received a significant renovation in the early 2000s, and that building is a beautiful building. We were there Saturday morning. There's needs, absolutely there's needs, but we don't need to tear it down. Those buildings that are being recommended for replacement, actually, that is because of the condition those buildings are in externally as well as internally, and the materials that were used to build those buildings and the exterior of those buildings as well as the interior of those buildings have really not stood up very well in our Colorado conditions, and really to fix the issues with those buildings as well as do the kind of upgrades we're talking about for all the schools across the district, we began to approach the replacement cost pretty quickly. And so that's why we're looking at actually replacing or considering replacing some buildings that are not as old as others. It's really about the condition of the building and about that early craftsmanship that went into those buildings and that work. So,
Test of time.
yes, they have stood the test of time, as Mr. Lydiak is whispering in my ear here. And so I just wanted to clarify that. We look forward to a lot more to come on considering this bond issue. Again, no decisions have been made. We know we have lots of needs across the district. We know we're over 3,000, almost 4,000 students over capacity district-wide. So we know we're going to need some more seats. And we know we want to look to get rid of some of those portable classrooms and begin to eliminate portable classrooms, so those temporary classrooms. So we'll have a lot more to come on that. I also want to share about kind of where full-day kindergarten is at the state level. So it's actually being heard tomorrow, and they're taking testimony on full-day kindergarten tomorrow in the Education Committee. So really excited to see that go forward tomorrow, and pleased to share with you all that Anthony Asmus, principal at Centennial Elementary, and Wes Tuttle, assistant superintendent of elementary, will actually go down and testify on the behalf of District 6 and be able to really talk about the changes in District 6 since we had half-day K and moved to full-day kinder, and what this funding would mean for students in our school district. So I'm excited they'll be down there tomorrow, and we'll expect them to give us a report back afterwards. Some huge celebrations. Many of us were able to be at the Dream Team banquet, and to see those students who are part of the Dream Team program and the scholarship awards that they received, and their plans for their future and the universities and colleges that they plan to go to. Our world is in good hands, and we look to the dreamers in our community. Also, I want to recognize that we have six Daniels Fund scholars. And just to remind you, Daniels Fund issues scholarships in Wyoming, Utah, Colorado, and New Mexico. They issued 218 awards. and 6 of those awards went to District 6 students. Those are full ride scholarships to university for those students. And I'm just going to quickly shout out to those students: Abigail Joyce Hubbard from Early College Academy, Darlene Michelle Perez Ramos from Greeley Central High School, Ashton Marcus Kerwin from Northridge High School, Tomas Gabriel Martinez from Northridge High School, Daniel Rodriguez from Northridge High School, and Samantha Ruby Montalvo Blanco from University High School. So good for them. Many of them are part of or at least 2 of them are part of the Dream Team program as well. So huge shout out to them and their families for that significant recognition. And then the Betchers Fund Scholars, one of the most prestigious scholarships awarded in the state of Colorado, and we are honored to have 2 Betchers Fund Scholars. One from Frontier Academy, Samuel Stoltz, is one of the Betcher Foundation Scholars, and then Taylor Henderson, who's a senior at Greeley Central High School. So congratulations to the 2 of them. And then just one final announcement: our last VIP tour offered by District 6 will be April 15th from 8 to 1, and we'll start here at the district office. We do still have spots open. If there are community members who would like to sign up to be a part of that VIP tour, they should contact our communications department to sign up for that. Thank you, Mr. Matthews.
Thank you, Dr. Pilch. We do have amazing and talented kids. It's the job of this community just to try to keep up. But we'll do our best. We will. We're now to the approval of the agenda. And so we'll need this is an action item, so we'll need a motion to proceed.
I move that the Board of Education of Weld County School District 6 approves the agenda as presented.
Second.
Thank you both. Is there any discussion? Seeing none. Ms. Crane, would you give us a roll call vote, please?
Mr. Hafley?
Aye.
Mr. Lydiak?
Aye.
Mrs. Mash?
Aye.
Mr. Matthews?
Aye.
Ms. Pappas?
Aye.
Dr. Richard?
Aye.
Mrs. Solis?
Aye.
Motion carries 7-0.
Thank you, Ms. Crane. We also need to approve our consent agenda, and I would just remind everyone this is what we've agreed that does not require discussion before a vote, and so we will also need a motion to approve this.
I move that the Board of Education of Weld County School District 6 approves items as presented on the consent agenda and authorizes the officers to sign any and all contracts.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Ms. Crane, will you please give us a roll call vote?
Mr. Hafley?
Aye.
Mr. Lydiak?
Aye.
Mrs. Mash?
Aye.
Mr. Matthews?
Aye.
Ms. Pappas?
Aye.
Dr. Richard?
Aye.
Mrs. Solis?
Aye.
Motion carries 7-0.
Our next item of business is the secondary career and technical education curriculum adoption. And this also is an action item. And so I would be glad to accept a motion to begin our discussion.
I move that the Board of Education of Greeley Evans School District 6 approves the adoption of career and technical education curriculum as presented.
Second.
Thank you both. Dr. Pilch, would you or your staff like to give us some more information about this new curriculum?
Thank you, Mr. Matthews. I will just say, as a reminder, that this is a part of our promise for mill levy override spending. We are updating several of our curriculum in several departments, and this is one of those areas. And we know that current technical education is a top priority in our community. Our community wants to know that we are getting our students ready, not only for college, but also for career. And these materials really needed to be updated to make sure we're preparing students for their future. So I'll turn it over to Dr. Dattery to share with you the work and the recommendation.
Thank you, Dr. Pilch, and good evening, President Matthews and members of the board. I am pleased to bring to you tonight the Career and Technical Education Curriculum Material Adoption Recommendation. Before I share with you a little bit about this recommendation and some of the process, I want to acknowledge and commend the work of Ms. Jenny Schilling. She is our Assistant Director of Student Support Services and Career and Technical Education. And she has truly done an amazing job. in pulling all of her multiple groups together, in which we bring to you tonight this recommendation. It was a very thoughtful approach. She has tremendous expertise in this area, and it couldn't be brought to you in this way tonight without her support, her guidance, and her leadership. So thank you, Jenny. Truly appreciate it. It's been a pleasure working with you on this. So to give you a little bit of information about the purpose for this adoption, the adoption of the Career and Technical Education textbooks provides learning materials to support each of our students, as Dr. Pilch said, to graduate career and college ready with the knowledge, skills, and dispositions needed to be successful in post-secondary education. Additionally, this is the first district-wide adoption that we have had for CTE materials, yes, and the resources in grades 9 through 12. Prior to this adoption, you may say, well, then what materials have we had? Prior to this adoption, resources have been purchased on a singular course request, and as new programs might be opened, we would purchase those materials singularly through either Perkins dollars or through school or through CTE funds, and this just limited both the scope and the quality of the overall process. So we're very pleased to be able to bring this to you tonight in this way. The following couple of slides outlines the committee members who served on the multiple advisory boards and the curriculum adoption process. So they include the parents of some of our students that are in these programs, industry representatives. It also includes advisory board members, teachers, and other staff members. These teachers represent the CTE content areas offered at each of the respective high schools. And when there are multiple CTE programs at different high schools, all teachers from these programs were included in the process, with some opting in and some opting out of the full scope of the meetings, but all were kept apprised of the adoption process as it went along. And finally, our 2 central office administrators were also a part of this curriculum adoption process. The curriculum process for the CTE materials began back in September of 2018 with a full evaluation of the current programs and the resource needs in those programs. They then conducted a pre-screen process to identify potential resources that would be brought forward to the advisory committees. Screening continued through October and November and into December using the AIM rubric. And in December, the CTE content groups reached consensus on the textbooks that they wanted to move forward to the advisory committees that were held in February. The CTE combined advisory committees that were comprised of a larger group of CTE stakeholders then met, and these included family and consumer sciences, business, marketing, and construction. And at that time, they reached consensus on the resources that they would want to move forward to District Curriculum Council. And then the Ag Advisory Committee met in March and gained consensus on their resource adoption recommendation. All the resources were then recommended to the District Curriculum Council for approval to then move forward to tonight's meeting with the Board of Education. The resources outlined on this slide and the next include the multiple resources for the variety of specific coursework in each CTE program. This slide specifically outlines those related to the agriculture program. And this slide outlines the resources recommended in business marketing, construction, family and consumer sciences, and ProStart 1 and 2. These resources not only align to the Colorado Community College system content standards, but they also align, when applicable, to concurrent enrollment courses. The total of all resources mentioned for career and technical education content areas is approximately $85,787. The specific quotes for each of these resources is more thoroughly outlined in your board packet. So thank you for allowing me a few minutes to present to you the work, give you a little bit more information, and I will take any questions you may have.
Miss Elise.
I don't have any questions, but in reading through this, it was so exciting to hear all these upgrades. I mean, it almost makes you want to go back to high school. So please, thank everyone for all their hard work in putting this together. And this is exciting for kids. It gives them so many different opportunities and different careers to look at and just kind of experiment with. And I think that, a lot of these careers we haven't paid enough attention to. And, we're doing what we said we were going to do. So thank you.
Thank you.
Dr. Richard.
I would just second what Ms. Solis just said. Thank you.
Thank you.
Going back to high school.
Yeah. Yeah, that too.
Mr. Hafley.
I agree with them. I mean, my esteemed colleagues, but I think one of the things that many people don't realize is that we gutted this program. We gutted it in between 95 and 2005, and we really hindered our students. And I think that now that we're looking forward to having them both career ready as well as academically ready for college, I think that's spectacular. And there's a lot of people in this community who will celebrate all the efforts of the people that you're working with.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Dattery. Thank you, Ms. Schilling, for all your work on this. I think I would echo those sentiments as well, that this is, our kids need skills. We know that they need skills to compete in this economic environment, and so we are excited as a board to see our kids getting skills in high school that they can use right away and be competitive in the job market. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Vote, Michael.
We do need to vote. Thank you. Always forget about the votes. Seeing no other discussion, we'll proceed to a roll call vote. Ms. Green.
Mr. Hafley?
Aye.
Mr. Lydia?
Aye.
Mrs. Mash?
Aye.
Mr. Matthews?
Aye.
Ms. Pappas?
Aye.
Dr. Richard?
Aye.
Mrs. Solis?
Aye.
Motion carries 7-0.
All right, thank you. Our next item of business is Innovation 2020 update, strengthening partnerships. And that's priority 1 and priority 2, both for in-district and with our parents and our families. And Dr. Pilch, would you like to say anything before you turn it over to your staff?
I think I'll just turn it over to Dr. Dattery and Mr. Tuttle and let them take it away. Thank you.
Well, good evening, President Matthews, Board of Education, and Dr. Pilch. We're excited to share with you the update of some of the work that's been going on related to our I-2020 strategic plan as it relates to strengthening partnerships. Every student deserves access to quality education that ensures that he or she graduates high school and is ready for career in college. You can see here some of the values that we hold that are tied to our work with strengthening partnerships. Specifically, the 2 values that most directly align with this goal are: we provide opportunity and choice, and we partner with families and communities. As you are aware, there are 4 goals in our I-2020, and tonight we're focusing on strengthening partnerships, whereby we will increase engagement through school and community partnerships. This evening we'll be sharing with you updates related to both priority 1, which is enhancing partnerships between and among programs and schools, as well as priority 2, strengthening partnerships with parents and families. The target related to both of these priorities is 80% of students surveyed will indicate satisfaction. The instrument utilized to gather this data is the Panorama survey administered annually. We gather different sets of data to indicate satisfaction from the 2 different categories as it relates to each priority. In relation to our first priority, the objectives outlined on this slide focus on establishing partnerships to bridge transitions for our students, kindergarten through post-secondary. In relation to the second priority, the objectives outlined on this slide indicate a focus on creating systems of communication for parents to access information, as well as enhance resources to support our families. As we enhance partnerships between and among programs in our schools, we've had some intentional focus on how we transition students from preschool into kindergarten. We have just under 1,000 students in our larger preschool programs that will be transitioning to kindergarten this fall. These programs include our District 6 preschool, ABC, Head Start Scene, and Early Childhood University. A task force representing these agencies, along with 2 elementary principals and 4 district personnel, met throughout this year to develop a plan to assist in transitioning these students more effectively. This also included opportunities for 32 preschool teachers to visit kindergarten classrooms, and for 29 kindergarten teachers to visit preschool classrooms across our system, increasing our understanding of the other program and to better assist students and families in making this transition. In addition, on March 25th, we held transition meetings. Last year, we started these meetings to discuss students and the interventions that we're finding success with them. And last year, we started with middle school to high school as well as elementary to middle school. This year, we added kindergarten, transitioning from preschool into kindergarten. When we look at our outcome data related to our strategic plan, we've seen a 3-year increase going from 67% in 2017 to 71% in 2018, and now to 73% in 2019. When we think about our March 25th transition day, we were able to focus on 957 students transitioning from preschool into kindergarten, as well as 100% of our students transitioning from 5th to 6th and 8th to 9th grades. Some of our next steps include our MTSS leadership team facilitating conversation with plans of unifying our system within Alpine Achievement to record and track interventions so that we're able to track what is being effective with students and help pass that information on to the next level when students transition to the next level. We will also have the preschool to kindergarten task force meet this fall to evaluate and revise our protocols that were used this year with the goal of increasing effectiveness. In addition to this work, we have representation on the Weld Family Leadership Commission, which is also looking to pull many community agencies together to make a difference in some focused neighborhoods in Weld County, quite possibly 2 within our school district. Let me pass it to Dr. Stacy Dattery to talk about our second priority.
Thank you, Wes. So as we review the actions related to Priority 2, strengthening partnerships with parents and families, one of the most beneficial aspects of education is building positive relationships within our school community. District 6 uses several communication tools in which to do this. One is the CTS Language Links, which is a call center that gives all district employees and parent organizations access to high-quality interpreters. Another that we have more recently implemented, in addition to CTS Language Links, is Parent Link Messenger, which is used by all schools on a daily basis to communicate information to parents. Third is the School Mint, also new. It is an online platform that is used to manage school choice, open enrollment, and student transfers for the first year in District 6 now. And finally, the FIT program, which stands for Families in Transition. And this includes 2 liaisons who specifically work with families who are experiencing homelessness, and they provide social emotional support as well as academic support and access to wraparound services with other external stakeholders. In addition, the District 6 Family Center has a vision to create meaningful opportunities for all students and families. Our District Family Center, or as we call it, DFC, the staff engage with external stakeholders across our community as a strategy to identify needs and build and strengthen partnerships for our families. Currently, the DFC and the Immigrant and Refugee Center collaborate and provide adult education classes, including English, GED, and citizenship. Such partnerships like these have been expanded beyond the center to include sessions in 5 district schools as well as local organizations. Other exciting partnerships include our access to Ames Community College for non-traditional students and support from the Colorado Statewide Parent Coalition at our Title I schools. The Colorado Statewide Parent Coalition will work closely with the Director of Culture Excellence, and develop a Title I Parent Family Academy that engages parents and families from each of our Title I schools as a practice to identify family engagement needs. So some good work going on there. And when we look at our outcome data related to our strategic plan, we have seen an overall 3-year increase going from 61% in 2017. And then it went to 79% in 2018, and it is now at 75% in 2019. It is important to understand in both our outcome data in relation to priority 2 as well as in priority 1 that we have increased our overall parent survey participation from the first year to this now past this last year. And as a result, we believe we are gaining a more accurate picture of parent satisfaction overall. Our progress data indicates that we have expanded our programming to reach a significantly higher number of parents district-wide. We shared this slide with you in January, and now since we continue to expand and include and reach more of our parents. Strategies that have helped elevate participation include partnerships with external stakeholders and scaling out programs at district schools and community sites. At the end of each semester, the Family Center conducts a survey of all parents who have attended any adult classes at the center. Parents responding to the parent program evaluation goal of, here's the goal, at least 90% of parents surveyed who participated in parent activities and services will report that they improved their English language skills, make better nutrition choices, and GED and citizenship classes helped them better prepare for the assessments. So that's the focus of these classes. The ratings were based on a 3-point scale where 1 was not at all, 2 is somewhat, and 3 is very much. The graph shows the percent of parents involved in these 4 types of adult programming, and 100% of parents responded to the parent program evaluations as either being somewhat or very much as it helped support them in these areas. And this indicated that those classes met their needs and we met this goal. An additional goal for the parent programming is at least 90% of parents responding to a survey that participated in parent activities and services to help their child with schoolwork and learning. It's important. So ratings, again, were based on that 3-point scale. The graph indicates that 100% of parents responding to the parent program evaluations indicated that the classes met the goal that they were more prepared to help their children with schoolwork and learning. The Family Center staff continues to increase their capacity to effectively serve parents and families with collaborative partnerships with community agencies and businesses, as well as institutions of higher education, to help expand the scope and support that the Family Center can provide. In relation to just 2 more points of progress data that we would like to share with you, 100% of our schools are accessing the ParentLink messenger system and manage attendance messages, nutrition messages, in addition to weekly communication. It is data-driven and it can track pertinent data through Infinite Campus. And it can be used for parents, families, as well as staff members to share information. So it's a great communication tool to make sure we're in partnership with parents. And additionally, nearly 10% of our parents, representing 1,873 students, accessed School Mint for open enrollment for the fall of 2019, and that's just to date at this point. To quickly round out next steps in this area, they include the Colorado Statewide Parent Coalition, as I mentioned before, working closely with the Director of Cultural Excellence, and develop a Title I Parent and Family Academy to increase awareness and acknowledge the community voice. Additionally, as a result of increased family engagement, the district will expand relevant community-based learning opportunities to ensure access for all stakeholders. And finally, in order to support a smooth transition of the electronic enrollment process, applicable stakeholders across the system are participating in training in preparation for the launch that is currently underway. So continuing to support our folks. So I would now like to take this last minute to discuss part of Priority 2, which is on parents and families, a little further as we present our DAC budget recommendation to all of you this evening. Here to present with me tonight is our DAC chair, Ross Perkins. So if you can join me up here, I've just got a few words just to introduce this, and I'm going to turn it over to you, Ross, to share our recommendations. Right on. All right, thank you. So one of the District Accountability Committee's responsibilities, as you may remember or be aware, is to make recommendations to its local school board regarding the spending of school district funds. So in preparation for making this recommendation to you all this evening, our District Accountability Committee members have worked on the District Unified Improvement Plan, Innovation 2020, And additionally, they have gained a deeper understanding of district priorities and challenges through the discussions with our superintendent during Dr. Pilch's superintendent forum. Here with me today then is Chairperson Ross Perkins, who will present the top recommended budget priorities from our District Accountability Committee. Thank you for being here. Truly appreciate it.
Thank you very much, Dr. Detter. Good evening, Board of Education, President Matthews, Dr. Pilch. So I'm going to be reading this. They asked me to do that. So
You can do what you want to do. It's yours.
So the District Accountability Committee has spent considerable time this year learning about what the needs of the district are. And in our last meeting, we had a great discussion in prioritizing these needs. The way that we did this, I want to just give a little shout out to Lindsay Richards for the great work that she did in preparing this and everything. I know she's not here tonight, but I want that on record. So because we did this in the past, was very manual and paper and writing everything down. This year she brought in electronic stuff that we did on our phones, and it worked out perfect. And we were able to have more in-depth discussion and conversation about the needs and things like that. So I really want to just recognize the work that she did on that. So the committee ranked the priorities on a scale from 1 to 4, with 1 being the lowest and 4 being the highest priority. Total response scores were tallied, and the gain of the overall prioritization, with the highest score possible being 48. Okay. So the highest recommendation from the DAC is to attract, hire, and retain high-quality teachers and staff to better compete with the surrounding districts. I think that was mentioned earlier. The second priority was provide funding to support the social and emotional needs of students at all levels. I will have to say we had a great discussion on this topic. And the next two tied with 41 points. Support professional development for all staff so that they can increase their effectiveness in supporting all students to be academically successful. And then also in that same score, address urgent deferred maintenance needs, which I believe we're going to be doing on Wednesday. So I'm pretty excited about that one. At the end of the list, the lowest priority, but not so much as not as important, but just ranked, scored lower, to continue to work towards improving transportation for elementary, K-12, and middle schools with a score of 32 points. Provide additional support for students who are newcomers to the United States and other second language learners with 30 points. And then finally, provide a mentoring program for new teachers to help them be successful as they begin their careers with 27 points. While DAC understands that this is just one piece of the budget process, we hope that you will strongly consider these recommendations as representatives from all the schools across the district by parents, school employees, and things like that who sit on the committee. We have become familiar with the budget constraints we must work within, and we believe these priorities will further support our teachers and student success. Thank you for your time this evening. I am District 6.
Very good.
So thank you for allowing us, all three of us, to share with you an update on strengthening partnerships in priorities 1 and 2, and we will answer any questions that you may have at this time. Thank you.
Ms. Elise.
So one of the things I want to talk about is the Family Center and just the things that are going on there. I know that this type of work cannot be done unless you're conscious about what needs to be done and what the needs are, and unless you have the intention to make sure that you're doing the right work and that you have the right people doing this work. And so I just really want to commend Jesse and everyone that works at the Family Center. You guys just do an amazing job. And this reminds me so much of the work that we did with Realizing Our Community with the grant that Greeley received and the success that we saw in that. I see this permeating in our district, and it just makes me so excited. I wish I could be part of it more, but just watching you guys and the work that you're doing, thank you. And it means a lot to parents. I mean, a lot of our parents don't come into the schools not because they don't care, but because they don't feel comfortable. They don't know the process. They don't feel confident enough to ask questions, and they don't want to be embarrassed of maybe asking the wrong question. And this tool and all the things that you provide at the center really helps them advocate for their kids, and that's really important, so thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Solis, for saying that, as I started this evening, I did not recognize Jesse Tejerina and his leadership with the Family Center and with parent engagement and all that entails, Title I schools, as well as Mr. Michael Seafried, and he is also joining us. And the two of them really provide the leadership and support that is needed to get this work done, along with their team of folks. So thank you so much for recognizing them. Could not do this without them, as we know, so deserves recognition and appreciation. Thank you.
And one more comment about DAC. We are so fortunate as a district to have community members and parents that care so much that you give up your time, you read through all this information, and you really take it serious. And we appreciate the information that you bring to us and all the hard work. So please thank everyone at DAC. We do take this serious, and we do value your opinion, and we take this into consideration moving forward.
Thank you.
Ms. Pappas.
I agree with Rhonda with everything you said as well, and thank you for the report. I also just wanted to mention that you said that there was an increased number of participants in the Panorama survey.
Yes.
And I believe that, if I'm understanding right, that's because of the access that parents have now. Can you just explain a little bit what the access is like now as in the past?
Thank you. Yes. So a couple of things that we did very differently this year, and in conjunction with our communications department, in terms of reaching out in a variety of different ways and sending them a direct link that they were able to click on in their email that was sent directly to them. This year, just having a more focused and intentional work around making sure that the majority of our parents have an email account that is accurate and on file, because that's a critical component of this. And should they not, this year we also sent letters directly home to schools, with students, to their parents rather, so that they could access their unique link just right in that letter. So rather than having them call in, we just did some things a little different and did increase about 3 times as many parents this year over last year as a result of these efforts. So thank you. Yeah, thank you.
Any other comments? I would thank you both as well, and also wanted to thank DAC and the parents that put their time in to ensure that we're providing high quality education for these kids, and to make sure that we receive the right information and information from a different perspective. So please thank your colleagues for us. We appreciate it greatly. Thank you both.
Thank you.
Our last item of business is a report from the Citizens Oversight Committee for our mill levy override, and we're super excited to hear this. I know we've been spending lots of money, and so it'll be great to make sure that it's all being spent in the way we said it would be spent. I think it is, but I'm anxious to hear.
Thank you, Mr. Matthews. I will just introduce to you all Dr. Ken Humphreys, who serves as the chair to the Citizens Oversight Committee, and he has an update for you all tonight. Dr. Humphreys?
Thank you. Mr. Matthews, Board of Education members, Dr. Pilch. I have the same basic report that I did in December, a very positive one, first of all. I have a lot of thank yous to pass around, but I'll briefly mention, of course, Megan and Mandy in the finance area have been very helpful in terms of supplying the information that we needed to look over. And to give you an idea of, we basically wholeheartedly feel that the district is scrutinized. We are scrutinizing, and the district is scrutinizing the spending of the mill levy dollars very appropriately. We were actually intending to meet quarterly. We've met more than that, but our next meeting won't be until sometime in late May. But we do believe that the district is definitely in accordance with what they said they would do. We had 2 big questions at the last meeting, several meetings, and one of them was, is the district living up to the commitments that they made? Categorically, yes. Is there communication with the public? We believe that there is, but we believe that can be improved. So we're going to take it upon ourselves to make recommendations to even enhance that communication a little bit more. But before, and I'll give you some of those ideas in just a moment, we've met 5 times, just to give you an idea. The last one being on March 20th, and we have reviewed in depth several times the committee's document in terms of the purpose of the Oversight Committee. I have, and we have as a committee, encouraged our members to review the budgets that's available to them, and we reviewed the mill levy spending reports at each meeting that we had. And that was provided by the Finance Division, and particularly Megan, who was instrumental in putting those together. We also requested, we've had reports from each of the schools. That is part of those reports that Megan has provided. We did have one situation where we felt we needed more information from the charter schools. So we asked Megan to respond to the charter schools and ask them for more detail because some of the reports were a bit vague. And so we were not clear on exactly what they were saying. So we asked for that. We got good responses back that followed, for the most part, what the rest of the schools in the district do. And we felt much more positive about that at the last meeting that we had. So we can assure you again that all of the schools, in their own ways, individually sometimes, are reporting to the district as they should about what they're doing with the mill levy dollars, override dollars. We did discuss the district's transportation situation too, and at the last meeting, we really had a good conversation about that with Dr. Pilch attending the meeting and feeling very positive about that too. Our future plans. Some of the committee members may attend the district's VIP tour on the 15th. I'm one of those. Some of you may know that I have history in this district. And as an aside, editorially, I can verify for you that some of the older buildings were really solid. I was principal at Arlington. One year I was there 6 years. We decided we moved the kindergarten room, but we needed lots of water. So we now removed the room and getting ready for the opening in September. The workers had to drill 18 inches of concrete to get at some place where they could add water lines. And also, I did spend some time at Montfort, and I've been back lots because my grandkids both were products of Montfort School. And I can assure you, I was standing there when they dug the hole, and I was appointed almost 2 years ahead for Montfort. And from my perspective, that building is very solid, and it was very nicely done. It looks great, and it's holding up very well. Some of the things we're planning for, and I'll finish with this, we'd like to do, some of our members would like to tour Meeker and see some of the work that has been done there. We're going to do something in terms of working with Teresa about publishing something else, perhaps in the Tribune or some other method. We're going to again meet in July, and in some way we want to be part of, if we can, the district's back to school event in August. Any questions?
Ms. Pappas.
Not a question, but I just really want to tell you how much we appreciate this report. When we were out in the community asking people to support an MLO, one of the, I think, contributing factors to that being passed was the fact that we were going to have a Citizens Oversight Committee. So really appreciate it. This is very thorough, and I just really appreciate the time of you and all of the other members on the committee. I'm sure we all do.
Thank you. Well, our members aren't here, but of course I should, for the record, maybe say who they are. Some of you are very familiar with these people. Gary Fuentes, Leslie McGrew, Jessica Marshall, Scott Rankin, and Mike Frick. They're hard workers and lots of good discussions. And I thank you for the opportunity to serve the district in this way. It's an honor. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Ms. Elise.
Oh, he's leaving.
One last comment or question, please, sir.
So it wasn't really, I guess it wasn't a question, but I know communication. That is always the key, and we all need to do better with that. So I look forward to your suggestions on what we can do, and maybe not even just with the MLO. I mean, those could be things that we do across the district in other areas too. So I look forward to all your ideas on that.
Report to the community.
Oh, that'd be great.
They will have a report.
Super.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you to your committee as well. And I just want to take one last opportunity tonight to thank the voters for passing that MLO. That money is not only being well spent and spent the way that we said that it would, it makes a difference. It makes a difference in the curriculum that our kids have, the maintenance needs that we're able to address, the computers we're able to get in their hands, and the bandwidth to run all that. It has been phenomenal for this district, and we can't say thank you enough. I don't think there is any other business tonight, so we are adjourned.